My name is JHadaway. This is Jeff Warman. He is the president slash owner of his own law firm. The name of the law firm is Jeffrey F. Warman, PA, located in Clearwater, Florida. It is the sole location, and there is one other family member in the business, his wife, Amy Warman, who is the office administrator. So, just first of all, to get some background information, I know that you didn't start in your own law firm. You started working for...
That's right. I started working for the state of Florida, actually. I worked for about 5 years for the state of Florida as an attorney. That I worked in insurance industry, excuse me, with a couple different insurance companies for probably a total of about 12 to 15 years. And then I was in a partnership with another attorney, and then I opened my own practice.
Okay, so what was your inspiration like to start your own business, to go into your own?
You know, I think most attorneys want to wind up having their own business, and it seems like a goal for most attorneys. I'm really not sure that I had any one inspiration or one, push, but probably just a kind of an overall dream, family dream, really.
Okay. How about finding a location? Did you choose the location based on where you thought it would be most effective, or did you just start up where you were currently living?
It's kind of I choose the location based on kind of a central area for both family and work. And from an entrepreneurial perspective, I was a partner in a business, and so that was kind of self-employed, as it were. But then when I opened my own, I looked at the geographical region that I handle, and I tried to pick an area that was centrally located for that, as well as close to home.
Okay. And as far as beginning the business goes, how did you obtain the startup capital?
That came essentially from the partnership that I was in, because one of the partners, the other partner, left me with the bulk of the work, and that really was the startup capital. Other than rent, because we don't own a building, and a lot of our equipment is leased, so that was kind of the startup thing. We had a lot of the equipment already.
So if you had to compare it to like another business where you have to buy a lot of merchandise, etc., this is not heavily funded.
It is not a capital intensive business.
Okay. So as far as marketing goes, I know I'm not sure if you advertise a lot, because who do you promote your business to? Who do you work with?
Good question. Because of the type of work that I do, I focus on representing insurance companies and their insurers, the people that they insure. So advertising really wouldn't benefit me in my practice, but of course, obviously, you see a lot of attorney advertising. For us, it's mostly word of mouth and client contacts.
What about as far as like the requirements go to have your business? So what about degrees? How far did you have to go in school?
Well, to be an attorney, you have to complete undergraduate, go to law school, get your law degree, and then you have to take the bar in whatever state that you're in. So you have to have a license to practice law, and that's given by the Florida Bar Association in Florida. And then, conceivably, you could open your own practice if you had the client base and the capital and the things that you needed to run a day-to-day practice. And then more locally and geographically, certain counties require you to have an occupancy permit or a business license, depending on where you are.
Okay. So those would be all the licensing requirements that you would need.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So as far as maintaining your own office goes, what are some of the other responsibilities other than just the legal ones?
When I worked for the insurance companies, it was easy. I'd show up at work, I'd go home, and that was it. What you learn owning your own business is there's a whole lot more to it, and this is true whether it's a law firm or some other business. And that is, okay, you asked me about picking out a building. You have to go find the building. And you have to look around, you have to shop around, use a realtor, or just go through the classified ads and find this space. Once you get that space, you have to maintain it. Somebody's got to clean it. So you can hire an office, a cleaning staff, or as we do, we clean it ourselves. We organize things ourselves. We buy our furniture or rent our furniture or whatever we need to do. We have to prepare a budget that we work with every month, and talking about the clients and the billing that goes out. We bill enough so that we make sure that we do enough work in one month so that the next month we have the money flowing in to pay the bills,
right,
and then have some income over top of that.
Okay.
Mail is always coming in and coming out, and our office administrator does that. Supplies, you have to order supplies. When you work for a company, they're there on the shelf. You go to the supply room and you get them. We have to order those and go pick them up or have them delivered, things like that. And then, there's also a lot of time spent that's not billable by myself or Amy, the office administrator, that we have to purchase insurance for the office. I mean, there's 3 or 4 different kinds of insurance. You have to buy professional liability insurance. You have to buy property insurance. You have to negotiate leases on office equipment. All those things don't generate income directly, but indirectly you have to have them to do it.
Right.
Those kind of things. I mean, it's and those things you would find in any business. Those are kind of the base issues that any new entrepreneur would face.
Gotcha. As far as human resources go, what employees do you have to hire? Like, what positions do you have to fill?
We have, and I'm going to go through when I had the partnership and to the practice now, because both of those were the owned businesses. With the partnership, we had to have a office manager, several paralegals, several secretaries, and it actually got to be very inefficient. It's a little bit staff heavy. Since I've left that and I'm working as a sole attorney now, I have my wife, who is the office administrator / business manager, and then we have one paralegal that helps to prepare the documents and put things together and schedule, that kind of thing. It's very efficient.
And how do you go about the selection of the employees? Like, how do you pick someone that you can trust, as well as having the correct qualifications?
Well, and if it was not my wife who was the business manager, which helps a lot, because if it wasn't her, I would have to have somebody else that I trusted with the money for the firm. And we did have somebody in the partnership. We had somebody it's an interview process. It's very difficult to find people that you trust and that are loyal and willing to do the work the way that it needs to be done. But it's important. It's important. Because we're so efficient, each position is extremely important.
So on a day-to-day basis, what are the day-to-day things that you have to do? Not only you, but maybe everyone within. Sure.
Well, our office administrator, Amy, does the bills. That kind of generates the income, as it were. The paralegal and I will put together the work and put together billable hours. That's how we generate income. Is we bill by the time that we do, as opposed to selling a product. We sell a service, and the paralegal and I bill those hours out. Doing the work, providing it to the clients, the customers, and then the office administrator will put that together in a accounting format and send those bills to the client. And that's a lot of work, and then follow up, because they don't always pay right on time. Follow up to make sure those get paid, and then also, because again, we're not selling a product, we're selling a service, but part of that service is reviewing records and reviewing papers and that kind of thing. We have to order those papers from other entities. So the office administrator will take care of the income and outflow of those papers, as well as payment for those papers. Paralegal will do document preparation, scheduling, those kind of things. I will do research, writing, courts. I go to court on a regular basis, depositions, any kind of out of the office things that involve legal work I handle.
So I know you mentioned that you have to bill out. Do you have someone else handle that for you, or do you have a accountant, I guess?
We have an accountant who takes care of our taxes, but as far as the billing, no, we don't have an accounting department like some larger firms might. That is what our office manager does. That's what Amy does, is put together all the billing. It's a very time-consuming process. fairly arduous, but she will put that together. And it has to be, in our business, it has to be in a certain format. It can't just be like in an Excel spreadsheet or some sort of an accounting, just a timesheet. It has to be in a certain format, and so it has to be put into that format through the computer. A bill has to be generated generally through a online billing system, and then it'll be reviewed by people and then paid.
Well, and also earlier, this is a little off base from what we were talking about, but you were talking about your old firm being inefficient compared to your new firm. So if you had to compare the two, what would be the qualities that are better in this one compared to the last one that made the last one inefficient?
What we found was some of the things that really make, in this kind of work, and generally probably in any kind of work, but especially here, that make somebody a valuable employee is loyalty, ownership of the work, and trustworthiness. I mean, I think those three things are really, and not necessarily in that order, it would almost be trustworthiness, loyalty, and then ownership of the work. Because without each of those, the employee can't be effective and trusted and do a good job. Right.
So this is kind of a general question. What would be your biggest piece of advice for someone opening up their own practice?
Have the business before you open the practice. In other words, that's not really a good way to say it, but have the base, the clientele, before you open the practice. It's very hard to open a practice and think that people will come walking in the door, and a lot of practices have failed because of that. I was very blessed and fortunate in that when my partner left, he left me with the books essentially and all the clients, and so I had a built-in practice to start with, so that helped. That's probably the most important thing. Really, office, office staff, office paraphernalia and equipment are almost collateral to that first part. You have to have the clients first from, to open an attorney practice essentially.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.